Caitlyn Jenner is a pro-Trump trans woman who supports a ban on trans athletes competing in women's sports. And there's even an LGBTQ organization called Gays for Trump. And why wouldn't there be? Gays love drag queens. My point is, look, you're still building your politics around slicing and dicing people into these fixed categories. Democrats need to get the memo that you can't win elections anymore by automatically assuming you're going to get every voter who's not these guys. The more you obsess over identity, the more you ignore the bread and butter issues that win and lose elections.
According to Bill Maher, it's a ticking time bomb, and the Democrats may be running out of time before it blows. Not next decade, not someday, but by the next election cycle. Because when politics becomes about symbols over solutions, something breaks. In a recent searing episode of Real Time, Bill Maher didn't hold back. His target? Not the Republicans, not Trump, not even the far right. His target was the left, his own side, and more specifically, their obsessive grip on race, labels, and identity-first politics.
I do give a shit who wins the next election. And outdated racial pandering is one reason Democrats lose elections. When Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi put on kente cloth, I don't think it earned them one vote for their powerful emotional ties to Ghana. Here in California, we're now segregating kidnapping. Really. California doesn't just have Amber Alerts for missing children. We have Ebony Alerts for black children and Feather Alerts for Native American kids. What is that? We look for them by listening on the ground?
He opened with a jab that stung more than it entertained. Remember when Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi kneeled wearing kente cloth? Maher didn't just call it performative, he called it pointless. Did it win a single vote? Did anyone feel truly seen? Or was it a made-for-TV moment in a culture war that no one really asked for? Then he took it further. California, his home state, now issues Ebony Alerts for missing black children and Feather Alerts for Native American kids. And while it may sound noble on the surface, Maher peeled back the absurdity. Are we supposed to look for them by listening to the ground? He joked, smirking. But underneath the punchline was a piercing truth. When even child abductions are racialized, have we crossed a line? And just when you think he's winding down, Maher levels the real warning. This isn't just bad optics. It's alienating voters, and fast. But that was just the warm-up. When race becomes branding, truth gets lost. In what might have been the most jaw-dropping moment of the show, Maher turned to the audience and asked the question no one wanted to answer. So, what's the alert code for a missing Caribbean American child? Or Asian American? Is there a sound for that too? Silence. Total, uncomfortable silence. Because the audience, like much of America, could feel it. Somewhere along the line, this stopped being about justice. It became about appearances, categories, segmentation, the illusion of action over real change. Maher wasn't laughing anymore. He was cutting through the noise to expose a dangerous truth.
Look, even if you like identity politics, this kind of thing is antiquated. From 2010 to 2020, the number of people identifying as multiracial in America went up 276%. 1 in 5 newlyweds now are in an interracial marriage, and that number goes up to 100% in ads for Subaru. You couldn't do a remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner today because almost 100% of Americans approve of interracial marriage, especially with rich in-laws. And 95% of white women would leave their husband to marry Idris Elba.
When the left reduces everything to race, they lose the nuance and the people. But the DNC's biggest blunder? It's hiding in plain sight. You won't believe how fast Americans are rejecting the old racial labels. Let's talk numbers. Between 2010 and 2020, the number of Americans identifying as multiracial skyrocketed by a staggering 276%. That's not just a statistic, that's a cultural revolution. Today, 1 in 5 newlyweds are in interracial marriages. Turn on the TV, And it's 1-in-1 if you're watching a Subaru commercial. The takeaway? America is blending faster than the political playbooks can keep up with. And yet, the Democratic strategy still assumes that voters fit into neat, separate racial boxes. Maher's point is simple. The country has moved on, but the party hasn't. And the voices calling for change? They're not who you'd expect. What do Morgan Freeman, Raven-Symoné, and Idris Elba all agree on?
Idris Elba, who says, as humans, we are obsessed with race, and that obsession can really hinder people's aspirations. Actress Raven-Symoné agrees. She told Oprah, I'm tired of being labeled. I'm not an African American. I'm an American. She says, I don't know what country in Africa I'm from. My roots are in Louisiana. And you don't have to agree with that. But it's a point of view a lot of people have. It should be respected. Morgan Freeman says the way to finish off racism is stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. There's even a movement now to ban racial questions on the census, and many of its leaders are people of color, like Professor Sheena Mason, who says to undo racism, we have to undo our belief in race.
Raven-Symoné told Oprah she's not African American. She's just American. Why? Because she doesn't know what part of Africa her ancestors came from. Her roots are in Louisiana, and she wants to be seen for that. Morgan Freeman, in an iconic interview, said the best way to end racism is to stop talking about race altogether. And Idris Elba? He believes the obsession with race is holding people back, not lifting them up. Even Dr. Sheena Mason, a black professor, is now leading a movement to eliminate racial identity from the census altogether. What do they all have in common? They're not denying history. They're rejecting the limitations of labels. But while the left doubles down, voters are walking away. What if black voters are quietly flipping the script on 2024? In 2020, Donald Trump received 12% of the black vote. That number has jumped to 22% in 2024, according to a USA Today Suffolk poll. This isn't a fluke, it's a signal. And it's not about love for the GOP, it's about frustration, with being spoken at, not spoken with being courted for identity, but ignored on policy. Democrats aren't just losing voters, they're losing trust, especially among those they assumed were safe bets. And the exodus? It's more cultural than political. The #1 country song in America? Beyoncé. The latest dunk champ? He's white.
The biggest new star in country is Jelly Roll, who was a drug dealer, then a prisoner, then a rapper, and then a face-tatted country music star. Not to mention a giant middle finger to the idea of staying in your own lane. No. In America now, you're allowed to be many things all at once, and that's a good thing, even when it's really stupid. Look, we're all Jelly Roll now. We're sloppy, complicated, and contradictory. 2/3 of Republican voters support weed legalization. And 41% of Democrats own or live with someone who owns a gun. Miss Marvel is Pakistani, and the winner of the last 2 NBA dunk contests is white.
Maher points to the cultural shift as proof that identity is evolving faster than political rhetoric can catch up. The biggest star in country right now is Jelly Roll, a former rapper, prisoner, and face-tatted Southern outcast. He doesn't fit into any box, and America loves him for it. Miss Marvel is Pakistani. 2/3 of Republicans now support weed legalization, and 41% of Democrats own or live with someone who owns a gun. The lines are blurring, the tribes are dissolving, and yet the Democratic leadership keeps clinging to a playbook built on division, not adaptation. So what happens when a party clings to the past while the people evolve? What if the real divide isn't race, but class? Ask Americans what they care about, and their answers are universal. Rent, groceries, healthcare, education, safety. Not buzzwords, not hashtags. Maher's message is blunt. Race isn't the dividing line. Class is. And Democrats, for all their talk of equity, have become the party of the elite. College grads, Twitter intellectuals, coastal professionals. The real split? the diploma divide. The left has become fluent in theory, but silent on the kitchen table, and people feel it. But their biggest problem may not be Republicans. It's their own base.
The liberal group MoveOn.org, formed in 1998 to urge Republicans to move on from the Clinton impeachment. Today's Democrats should move on from identity politics. It's not working. It's not working for them or for us. Democrats are hemorrhaging the very voters they think they're pandering to. The Financial Times writes, Democrats are going backwards faster with voters of color than any other demographic, and suggests the reason is that a less racially divided America is an America where people vote more based on their beliefs than their identity. Exactly. Far-left liberals are living in an old paradigm. Americans don't fit into neat little boxes anymore. Who has the #1 country song right now? Beyoncé.
Could the Democratic Party actually implode by 2030? In 5 years, states like California and New York are projected to lose House seats. Meanwhile, states like Texas, Florida, and Idaho, all red, are gaining ground. That's just geography. The real threat is ideological collapse. Inside the DNC, infighting, ideological purity tests, and online witch hunts are creating an environment so volatile, even lifelong supporters are tiptoeing out. The Big Tent Party has become a battleground, and voters are exhausted. So what's the final verdict? Bill Maher's closing argument wasn't just bold, it was sobering. Voters don't want more labels. They want results. They want affordable housing, safer streets, better schools, the dignity of work, the hope that their kids can do better than they did. And if Democrats continue to prioritize ideological theatrics over practical solutions, they won't just lose elections, they'll lose their identity altogether. So the question is simple. Can the Democratic Party survive this shift? Or is Maher right? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you want more unfiltered takes you won't hear anywhere else, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, peace out.